Hello and welcome to a Monday evening's yoga club. As always, your practice is at your own risk, so pay attention to how your body's feeling so that you can make the right decisions, taking things easy when you need to, missing things out if that's the right thing for your body today. For our class today, it would be helpful if you've got a belt or something that you can use. Well, definitely you'll need something you can use as a belt. That could be a real belt, a tie, a pyjama cord, anything like that. And also either a brick or a block, or actually if you've got it, a good thick book would be fine as well. So if you need to go and get those, do pause the video whilst you go and get them. Then we're going to come up to standing to start today's class. So bringing yourself to standing. And once you're standing, having your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and just making sure you are standing in a place where you've got some room in a moment to swing your arms, but we'll do that in just a moment, because first of all, I'd like you to close your eyes, relax your hands by your side, let your shoulders relax, maybe taking them back before you relax them. And then allow yourself a few breaths to bring your awareness and attention into the class, bringing your attention and awareness into your body. So first of all, being aware of the soles of your feet against the ground. So feeling the texture of the floor or mat underneath them. Being aware then of the temperature of the air around your feet. Guiding your attention upwards then to your breathing. So that for the next 2 or 3 breaths you have that awareness of the rise as you inhale. Maybe feeling the abdomen expand outwards on an inhale as well. Allowing your body to relax on your exhale. And opening your eyes, extending your arms out at shoulder height. Keeping your awareness within. So right now you could maybe be feeling what it's like as you stretch your hands wider. What does that feel like at your shoulders? Maybe stretching your fingers really wide so you're feeling that stretch in your hand. Then keeping your head in line with your shoulders, starting to twist your upper body left and right. So you're keeping your head just in line, so your head just moves with your shoulders. And then you could take your head around that little bit further. So you're starting to look over your shoulder a little, so you're getting the maximum twist at the top of your spine and your neck. And then you could start to pick up the opposite heel as you come round, allowing you to go that little bit further. And then to finish it off, if your balance allows, you could maybe take it a tiny bit faster so that you get a bit more momentum round, deepening the twist in your spine. Taking one more to each side, coming back to the center and lowering your hands. Allowing your hands to relax, your shoulders to relax, noticing there'll be a bit of tingling in your arms as your circulation gets back to normal, having had all that force pressing the blood out towards your fingertips. Coming to the top of your mat, ready for sun salutations. Hands relaxed by your side. Aware of the insides of your feet touching as your feet are together. Lifting the crown of your head to the ceiling, taking your shoulders back and down, tilting your chest slightly forward and slightly up. So you're coming into that idealized, good posture. We'll take 2 breaths before our first round. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, palms together, elbows lifting, shoulders relaxing. Feeling every finger touch the other finger, feeling the whole palm press against the whole of the other palm. reaching your arms up, lifting your hands higher as you then take your armpits back, tilting your rib cage up to the ceiling. As much as possible, keeping your upper body, your abdominal area, in the same line as your hips. So you're not leaning back like I'm just doing bad, which is the wrong thing to do, but you're simply tilting your rib cage up to the ceiling, keeping your abdomen pointing forward. From your hips, start reaching and stretching forward, then lowering and relaxing everything in the upper body down. Neck muscles relaxing in particular, head helping your upper body to relax down more over your legs. Fingertips are touching the mat in line with your toes. Maybe taking your tailbone a little higher. Take your right leg all the way back. Once it's gone back, lift your gaze as your hips relax. Seeing if you can get a straight line from the back of your heel through to the crown of your head by pressing your right heel back and easing your collarbones forward. Take your left foot back, come into a down face dog. So here, hips lift high to the ceiling as hands and heels press down. Come forward to planks, so you're looking between your hands, pushing the ground away, heels pushing back, shoulders easing back, lowering your knees, followed by your chest. Touch down with your chin, or if you can easily reach your forehead, pressing your upper body forward as you lift your face and chest, taking your shoulder blades back and drawing your elbows in close. Tucking your toes under and lifting your hips. Maybe taking them back to your heels first on this first round. Hips lift high, hands push down, heels push down. Then we'll take some stretches of the calf. So as you bending your right knee, and as you do that, just feeling straight away, that gives some extra stretch in your left calf. Stretch that you can strengthen by pressing your left heel down as you next exhale. Then as you next inhale, swap that over to your left heel, left knee bends. As you exhale, the right heel pushing firmly to the mat, stretching out the back of your right leg. Inhale to swap. Exhale, press the left heel firmly to the ground. Inhale as you swap. Exhale, the right heel firmly to the ground. One more each side. Inhaling, swap. Exhale, the left calf stretches. Inhale, swap. Exhale, the right heel pressing down. Then exhaling, press your left heel down, so you're coming back even. Hips lift, hands push down, heels push down. If you've got the energy, then look between your hands. Bring your right foot through. Let your hips relax, push your left heel away. Left foot comes through, relaxing down into your forward fold. Gravity drawing your head, shoulders, neck down to the mat. Then lead up with your arms, reaching them up and forward. Stretching all the way up to the top, taking your arms back, showing your armpits to the ceiling, and hands come down. Inhale. Exhale, palms pressing firmly together. Then reaching and stretching your arms up, taking them back from your hips, stretching forward, slowly down, releasing when you get to the bottom, everything relaxes. Left leg comes all the way back, hips relaxing, gaze lifting, collarbones forward, left heel back. Right foot back, down face dog. Hands press down, heels press down. Guiding your chest towards your knees, hips lift high. Come forward to plank. Look between your hands in plank, knees lifting, heels push back, shoulder blades ease down your back. If you're feeling strong, you can come down in one straight line, taking your elbows back. But only come down that way if your elbows stay in close. If you find your elbows splaying out to the side, come as far as you can with your elbows in and then let your knee come down, followed by your chest. Lift your face, lift your chest, shoulder blades ease back, elbows in close. Little cobra here. Toes tuck, hips lift, down face dog. Hips lift, hands down, heels down. So you've got this 2 points pushing down, heels and hands. 1 point lifting up to the ceiling, that's your hips lift on high. There's also a little push forward of your hands to help your armpits lower, and sending your hips back towards the wall that's behind you. So you've got a little movement forward, movement back, as well as 2 points pressing down, 1 point lifting up to the ceiling. Looking between your hands, bringing your left foot through, relaxing your hips in your lunge, right foot through, forward fold, head hanging heavy. Then lead up with your arms, reaching forward, then up, arms come back, and hands come down. Inhale, exhale. Take one more round, we will flow this with the breath. So this is a real opportunity to make this practice mindful. You're aligning movement to breath, being aware of what you feel in your body as you find each posture. Crown of your head lifts, your feet press down. Rest breath to begin. Inhale, exhale, palms firmly pressed together. Inhaling, reaching up, taking your arms back. Exhale, reach forward and then all the way down, relaxing once your fingers touch the mat. Inhale, right leg back, gaze lifts, hips relax. Exhale, left foot back, hips lift on high, hands and feet pushing down. Inhale, forward to plank, looking between your hands as you push the ground away. Exhale to lower, knees then chest all one straight line. Inhaling, face and chest lifts, shoulder blades ease back. Exhale, toes tuck, hips lift on high, hands push forward, taking your armpits back. Inhale, right foot through, lifting your gaze. Exhale, left foot through, forward fold, everything hanging heavy to the ground. Inhaling, reach and stretch forward, then up. Tilting your ribcage up to the ceiling, exhale, hands down. Inhale, exhale, palms together, elbows lifting. Inhale, reaching forward, then up. Exhaling, forward, then down. Fingertips in line with your toes. Inhale, left leg back, lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot back, hands down, heels down, hips lift. Inhale your way to plank, shoulders over wrists. Exhale to lower. Inhale, face and chest lifts. Exhale, toes tucking, final down face dog. Heels push down, pressing the ground forward away from you. Inhale, left foot through. Lift your gaze. Exhale, right foot through, forward fold. Inhaling, reaching and stretching forward, then up, taking your arms back. Exhale, hands down. Feet apart, palms turns forward, shoulders relaxing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Wonderful. Come to lying down on your mat. Make sure your belt is close at hand. We're going to use that next. Regulars will know that means we're going to give our legs a thorough stretch in all directions. But before we do that, take a moment of rest. Hands away from the body, palms turned up, feet relax apart. Keeping your awareness and attention somewhere within the body, somewhere that allows your mind to focus on this present moment, preventing it from drifting away to thoughts of past or future. It could be the breath, it could be the back of the body against the ground, it could be any sensations in the body after sun salutations. Or something else that allows your mind to just gently focus on something. Then bend your knees, bring your feet in towards your feet, hip distance apart. Reaching for your belt, pick up your right foot, loop the belt around the ball of your right foot and send your right leg out along the ground. Your heel touches down, keep your left knee bent. Hold a belt loop in each hand, holding it loosely, there's no need to wrap it around your hands. Shoulders relax. Draw your toes towards you and press your knee down. That straightens the leg. As you next inhale, lift that straight leg up towards the ceiling. So you're lifting it as high as it's comfortable to go, and that means it's comfortable as your knees comfortable to go, and as far as your lower back is comfortable to go. Once you've got your leg lifted, reach your arms up so you're holding a belt loop in each hand. And then you just might find that the little toe side is kind of a little bit closer to you or further away than the big toe side. So see if you can just straighten the foot so that your foot's nicely flexed. You might find you need to maybe draw your little toe side a bit towards you, pressing the big toe side away, so that if your leg were to be vertical, it would be exactly parallel with the ceiling. Shoulder blades relax, then draw your leg back to its first biting point. So be really aware, be really sensing what's going on in your leg. You're bringing it back to a point of a bit of discomfort, but not pain, and just a good stretch. If you feel that anywhere that's uncomfortable, then ease back a little. Using your breath, then find more biting points so that each time you inhale, you draw your toes back a little more to the wall behind you, and every time you exhale, relax your shoulders, relax your upper body. So this is 3 or 4 breaths, gently and gradually lengthening the hamstring at each point. Taking one more breath, the final ease back of your toes, maybe seeing them move against the ceiling. Then pass both belt loops to your right hand, extending your left arm out along the ground at shoulder height. Allow your left knee to head a little to the left as on your next exhale, you start to send your right leg out to the right. The belt will slip through your fingers, but keep the belt from the foot from going any closer to the bottom of your mat. You want to keep it drawn in towards you, or drawn in towards the top of the mat, letting your left knee come out, keeping your left buttock in contact with the ground. If that's lifted off, you'll need to just lift your leg a little to get your left buttock back on the ground. Drawing your toes up towards you so that that right leg stays straight. And then just allow yourself 2 breaths here. As you exhale, relaxing the right leg, stretching out the inside of that leg, maybe taking your left knee a little closer to the ground, so you're also stretching the inside of the left leg. And when you next inhale, bring your leg back up to the center. Reach up, taking a belt loop in each hand. Once your arms are straight, let your shoulders relax, draw your leg back to its final biting point. Toes drawing down, knee pressing away as long as that's comfortable for the knee. Then release your right leg, extend it out along the ground. Extend your left leg out briefly so that you can check in with how each leg feels, comparing what one leg stretch feels like compared to one that's still to be done. Then bending both knees, bringing your feet in towards you, feet hip distance apart, picking up your left foot, looping the belt around it, and sending your left leg out along the ground. Holding a belt loop in each hand, draw your toes towards you, press your knee down. When you next inhale, bring your left leg up towards the ceiling. So you're bringing it as high as it will easily go. When you get that first stretch, hold there. Reach your hands up so you're holding a belt loop in each hand. Just checking in, is your foot, if it was directly vertical, if your leg was vertical, is your foot so that it would be parallel with the ceiling? You might find you just need to maybe draw your little toe side towards you, press your big toe side away from you, just so your foot is completely straight on the end of your leg. Then using your breath as you inhale, draw your leg back to its biting points, and exhaling, relaxing your upper body. Just be careful as you do that. you might find that you start to lift your tailbone off the ceiling, which is great because your leg will then come back so much, but you're not stretching your hamstring. So keeping your tailbone pressing down towards the ground, inhaling, easing back, exhaling, relaxing, taking one more breath. Passing both belt loops to your left hand, extending your right arm out at shoulder height. Let your right knee fall out a little to the right, and exhaling, slowly take your left leg out to the left, belt slips through your fingers, elbow bends to land down, bringing it as close to the ground as your right buttock allows. If that lifts off, you may need to lift your leg up a little higher. Just making sure your wrist is nice and straight, so your hand is straight on the end of your wrist. And relax. As you relax, as you exhale, you might find your leg will relax down towards the ground a little more, increasing the stretch. Then when you next inhale, bring your leg back to the centre. Reach up to take a belt loop in each hand, guiding your leg back to its final biting point. And then release. Let the belt go from your foot. Belt can go to one side now. Let your leg come down. Stretch your right leg out. Hands by your body. Palms turned up. Checking in with the legs. Noting any sensations anywhere in either leg. Bring your feet together. Take your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, pointing your palms away if that's comfortable. Stretch your toes forward, stretch your arms back. So stretch long. Seeing if you can stretch a little longer. Feeling this, where that stretches the skin on the front of your body. And then release. Bring your hands by your side, coming up to sitting. And from sitting up to standing, so that we can take an ITB stretch. So the ITB runs from around here, over the hip, and connects down underneath the knee. And that's why, in order to stretch it, we will be in a moment leaning over, because as that hip goes over there, it makes the ITB have to lengthen as it stretches over the hip. And also, as we press the leg down, that also really makes it stretch where it attaches to the knee. So that's why we take the move that we do. So take your left foot in front and across the right leg. As you do that, see if you can bring your toes into line, so that as you look down, you've got two sets of toes in line, but the opposite way round to normal. Pressing your back foot nice and firmly into the ground, taking your left hand onto your left hip. This one always does for me. It's all the different limbs on different sides of the body is my excuse. So then, just make sure your torso is facing forwards. You probably need to turn a tiny bit to the left. And then, when you're ready, have a hinge over to the left. Imagining and visualising as that hip comes out, the ITB getting stretched down over it. And as your back foot presses down, that drawing your knee down a little and to the left a little, again helping it to stretch. See if you can maybe press your hips more out to the right so that it gets more stretch over the hip. And maybe relaxing a little more to the left, because the more you bring your torso over to the left, again, the more it stretches against where it attaches here. We'll take that then with the breath, so that as you next inhale, bring yourself back up. And then when you exhale, hinge back over to the left. Inhaling, press your hips over to the right. And exhaling, relax left a little more. Inhale, coming back up. We'll take two more. Exhale, tilt over to the left. Inhale, press your hips more over to the right, keeping your back foot pressing down. Exhale, relax more left. Inhale, come back up. One more this side. Exhaling, tilt left. Inhaling, press your right hip out to the right, and exhaling, relax left. We're going to hold here for a moment because this is the moment of maximum stretch. So keeping your right leg, your back leg pressing down, seeing if you can relax a little more left. And then as you inhale, coming back up. Uncrossing your legs. Relax your hands by your sides. And then cross your right leg over the left. Bringing your toes into line if you can. Then right hand onto right hip. Left hand just relaxes, your back foot, your left foot pressing down. As you next exhale, take a tilt over to the right. Seeing if you can just press your hips more to the left as you relax right. So it's as if your right elbow is heavy down towards the ground. And then we'll take 3 with the breath. As you inhale, coming back up. As you exhale, tilting back right. Inhale, send your hips left. Exhaling, relax right. Inhale, coming back up. Keep that back foot pressing down. Exhale, tilt right. Inhale, send your hips left. Exhaling, relax right. One more. Inhaling, come up. Exhale, tilt to the right. Inhale, press your hips to the left. Exhale, relax right. Holding for a moment if you can, back foot pressing down, relaxing right, pressing your hips left. Inhaling, come back up. Uncross your right leg, feet hip distance apart, hands on hips, and take a rotate of your hips. And that just resettles your ITB where it rolls down the outside of your hips. Taking that in the other direction. Bringing that to a halt and coming back to lie down on your mat. So stretching your legs out for a moment. Let them relax. Turn your palms to face up. Keeping your awareness within, so you may well be able to still feel that around the hips. And wherever you're feeling may give you a good indicator of where the ITB is attaching and where it's stretching over the hip. We're going to take a hip opener now. We're going to take eye of the needle, bending your knees, bringing your feet in towards you with your feet hip distance apart. Bringing your knees up onto your chest and wrapping your arms around your knees, or the back of your knees, so you can draw them in nice and close. So just getting a little bit of a warm up there in the hips. Then releasing your knees, letting your feet land down. Picking up your left foot, crossing your left ankle on your right knee. And then lifting up your head so you're looking forward. Picking up your legs so that they come in towards you. And are reaching your hands through, the left hand going through the eye of the needle to take a hold of your thigh. Take a good hold, interlacing your fingers behind your thigh. And then you want to, just as we do when we take a pigeon, you want to get a flex of your left foot. So that means first of all just flex it so that your toes all head towards your knee. But then you also just want to make sure that your little toe side is drawing equally towards your knee. So that might mean drawing your little toe side a little closer, and as a result pushing your big toe side away slightly so that your legs, all your toes are evenly drawn up to your knee. Then taking your head down, bringing your leg with you as you do that, relaxing your shoulders, and then starting to draw your right leg in towards you, pressing your left knee away from you. Now as you do that, be using your arm strength, but actually more, be using the strength of your right leg so that you're drawing your right leg back with the strength of the leg, but your hands are performing a bit of an assisting role. keeping that left knee pressing away. And as you draw your right knee towards you, be drawing it a little slightly across, so it's heading towards your right shoulder rather than your right side of your chest. Keeping your breath steady, keeping your shoulders relaxing. So you should be feeling a good stretch right inside your left hip. If you want to enhance that, you could press your tailbone down towards the ground as your shoulders relax. And then take 2 more breaths, maybe inhaling, drawing your right knee closer towards your right shoulder, exhaling, pressing your left knee away from you. Then release your right leg, let your right foot land down, uncross your left leg, let your feet land on the ground, picking up your right foot and crossing your right ankle on your right knee, on your left knee indeed. Picking up your left foot so your legs come in towards you, lifting your head so you can see the eye of the needle, threading your hands through, getting a good grip around the back of your left thigh, flexing your right foot and drawing the little toe side more firmly up towards your knee, maybe sending the big toe side away so your toes evenly flex up towards your knee. Taking your head back down, bringing your legs with you, and then using your leg muscles and your arms, drawing your left knee towards your left shoulder, pressing your right knee firmly away from you. Pressing your tailbone down, relaxing your shoulders, keeping that flexing your foot. And then using your breath as you inhale, left knee to left shoulder, exhale, press your right knee a little more away from you. Keeping your tailbone easing down. Taking 1 more breath there. And then release your leg. Left foot lands down, uncross your right leg, stretching your legs out, hands by your sides, palms turned up. Have a couple of breaths there. And then we're going to come to work the core. We're going to do that with double leg raises today. Bring your feet together. Feeling the insides of your feet making contact with each other, bringing your hands by your side, palms turned down, drawing your navel towards your spine, shoulders relax, and then really paying attention to your core and your lower back. As you next inhale, lift your legs up towards the ceiling. And when you exhale, lowering your legs down. Now, if as you did that, the work is, if that doesn't feel completely controlled, and if it feels like your lower back is having to do a lot of that work, then lighten the load by taking your hands underneath your buttocks. That gives you a little lift of your hips. If that felt really controlled and dare I say easy, then you could take your hands behind your head, interlacing your fingers and placing your head on your palms. Navel towards your spine as you next inhale, lifting both legs up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, steadily let your legs descend, making the descent even so they spend as much time in the second half of the descent as the first half of the descent. Keep that then going with your own breath. So every time you inhale, your legs are lifting. Every time you exhale, they're lowering. And if as you progress, that feels like your lower back's trying to do too much, then you could also, as well as having your hands underneath your buttocks, you could take a bend of your knees. Just keeping that going, keeping your navel drawing in towards your spine. Next time you find your legs lifted, just hold your legs there. I'm going to give you a countdown for the final 3. So only go as fast as only go as slow as I count if that's right for your core. If your legs are straight, toes draw down, knees press away, shoulders relax as you next exhale, lowering down, keeping your breath going. Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. Let your feet relax for a moment. Then drawing your navel in towards your spine. We're going to take one more. Shoulders relaxed, navel to spine. As you next inhale, lifting both legs. Coming down to a count of 8. Om 8, Om 7, Om 6, Om 5, Om 4, Om 3, Om 2, Om 1. And touching down, feet relaxed apart, palms turn up. Taking good deep breaths down into your abdomen so that as you breathe in, your abdomen rises, and as you exhale, your abdomen falls. Coming from here, we're going to take Matsyasana, the fish pose. So our first back bend. Well, I say our first, we've already done our cobras in our sun salutations, but our next back bend. Bend your knees, bringing your feet in towards you, lift your hips and place your hands underneath your buttocks so that if possible your thumbs, you can feel the inside edge of them touching. Pressing your hands down towards your feet so your elbows are in as close as you can bring them. Lowering your hips so you are sitting on your hands. Stretching your legs out. Bringing your feet together. Pressing your shoulders down towards the ground. That's the first step. And as you do that, maybe seeing if you can get a sense of lifting your shoulder blades away from the ground, as if you're trying to press them up towards your chest. Then starting to press your lower arms down, particularly your elbows press into the ground, your hips press into your hands, as you then start to bend your elbows, lifting your back vertically away from the ground. Just looking directly up towards the ceiling, and then resting your head back. Maybe seeing if you can bring the back of your head, or maybe even the crown of your head, down onto the ground, straightening your elbows a little to allow your head to land on the mat. Then wherever your head is, keep your elbows pressing down, keep your shoulder blades pressing as if up through your chest towards the ceiling. A little bit of weight on the head, but the elbows are what's holding you up here. Keeping your shoulders pressing to the ground. And then taking 2 breaths here. Keeping the lift in your chest, the weight in your elbows. Then when you next inhale, press into your elbows, bending your elbows to lift your head, tuck your chin down to your chest, and then drape your upper back down onto the mat. Press into your heels to lift your hips, take your hands out, take a rotate of your wrists. Taking your arms up overhead, interlacing your fingers if that's comfortable, pressing your toes forward, stretching your hands back. Another good full stretch of the whole body, stretching as long as you can. And then relax. Bring your hands over by your side and come up to sitting. And then from sitting up to kneeling. So come to kneeling at the back of your mat. We're going to spend a little bit of time on our knees. And if you've got a hard floor underneath your mat, then I would definitely recommend you give your mat a few rolls, or maybe find a cushion, not too thick a cushion, that you can place under your knee. So we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to take a back bend, we're going to take crescent moon for a back bend, and we're also, I'm just trying to get it so you can see my head, and we're also going to take Ardha Hanumanasana, which is half splits. So standing on your knees hip distance apart, bringing your right foot forward. And then once your right foot's forward, bring your hands down either side of that foot. Check in with your knee and ankle, and just move your foot forward so that your ankle is definitely in front of your knee with a gentle slope away from you on your shin. Let your hips relax, and as they relax, you'll maybe feel a bit of a stretch down the hip flexor. So crescent moon is about stretching the hip flexor, in this case the left one, and also getting a back bend. So take your right hand onto your right knee, press into your right hand to lift your torso, keeping your hips relaxed, taking your left hand onto that knee. If you feel at all wobbly there, take your right foot a little more out to the right. So let your shoulders come back and relax down. Knowing as you lift your chest up and back, that will increase the stretch on your hip flexor. As you bring it forward, that will release it. So maybe seeing if you can relax your hips, seeing if you can lift your chest. Fine, stay here. If you want to, you can lift your arms up towards the ceiling. So stretching your arms to the ceiling. If your balance is okay, take your gaze between your arms and then lift your arms a little higher to the ceiling and take them back like we do in our sun salutations. So you're tilting your rib cage up towards the ceiling. If your hands are on your knee, you can still just ease your chest back as far as is good for your left hip flexor. Taking 2 breaths here. As you inhale, lifting your arms or lifting your chest. As you exhale, seeing if your hips can relax a little lower. If you're looking up, look forward. And as you exhale, bring your hands down either side of your front foot. So we're going to transition from here to Hanumanasana, half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. So just walk your hands back, and as your hands walk back, let your heel lift, and see if you can come to a place where your right leg is straight. You may well not come to a point where that leg is straight, in which case just come to a point where your fingers are resting on the ground and your leg is as straight as you're able to take it. Then just have a look down at your left leg, the back leg. Maybe see if you can just take that back a little so that there's a slope going away from you down towards your knee. Then wherever you've come to, depending on whether your leg is straight or... yes, actually, sorry, that's another way to do that. You might also you may find that you can take your right heel forward a little, just a little, to help that leg to straighten. So you're going to be in a place where your knee is going to be straight or bent. If your right knee is straight, then you're going to keep lifting your chest as you maybe walk your hands forward a little and hinge at your hips to lower. If your right knee is bent, then with your fingertips firmly in the ground, then you're going to be just gently pressing that knee down, straightening it as much as your hamstrings allow. Wherever you are, keeping your right hip crease easing back a little. And then just relaxing your upper body and just using your breath so that every time you exhale, you take that as the chance to either make your knee a little straighter, or you take that as a chance to maybe hinge forward a little more, maybe walking your hands forward a little more if your leg is straight. So this gives you a good stretch in that hamstring. So taking one more breath there, seeing if you can either straighten your knee a little more or hinge forward a little more. And then walking your fingertips back, so you're coming as upright as you can with your fingertips on the ground. And this is where we then see if there's any more depth to be found in your half splits. So maybe just pushing your right foot forward a little, just taking that as low as it is comfortable to go. And then when you come as low as you're comfortable to go, hold there for 2 breaths, relaxing your hips down towards the ground. And then slowly just draw your heel back in towards you. You might bring the mat with you as I'm doing, bringing it in until you can land your foot down and then pressing into your foot to lift up and bring your right leg back. Coming back to standing on your knees, hands relaxing, ready to do the other side. Taking your left foot forward, bringing your hands either side of that foot. Making sure your ankle is in front of your knee. Then you can let your hips relax towards the ground. Keeping your hips relaxing, bring your left hand onto your left knee. Press into that hand, and as you do so, bring your right hand onto that knee. So you're bringing your torso upright as far as your right hip flexor is comfortable for you to go. Seeing if you can sink your hips a little lower, bending your knee a little more. Knowing that it's fine to stay here. Knowing that you can take your left foot out a little more to the left if there's any wobble there. But if you want to, you could lift your hands, stretching your arms first directly upwards. And then maybe taking your gaze between your hands and taking your arms back so that you're tilting your rib cage up towards the ceiling. If your hand's on your knee, pressing into your hand to help your chest lift up and back just as much as your right hip flexor is comfortable to go. Using your breath so that as you inhale, you're reaching up and back, and as you exhale, you're sinking a little lower in your hips. If you're looking up, bring your gaze forward. Exhale as you bring your hands then down either side of your front foot. Then starting to send your hips back, straightening your front leg as you do so, letting your sole of your foot lift away from the mat so you come onto your heel. Once you've come back as far as you can with your fingertips still on the ground, you can then maybe just press your heel forward a little or take your right leg back a little so that you end up with a gentle slope down towards your knee on your right leg. And then from there, if your fingertips are on the ground and your left knee is straight, you can then slowly and gently just ease your torso forward towards your toes, getting a little bit of a bend at your hips. If your knee is bent, then it's about just very gently on each exhale, seeing if you can just ease that knee a little straighter, pushing your heel away from you as you do that. Keeping your left hip flexor easing back a little. Taking 2 more breaths, using the exhale as that opportunity to come a little deeper into the posture, either straightening the leg or increasing the hinge forward at the hips. And just walking your hands back a little, so you're walking them back as far as you can and still reach the floor. And then it's fine to hold here or come out if you've done enough, but if you wanted to, you could test your splitability by pressing your left heel forward away from you on the mat. Seeing how low your hips are able to come, how far away you can take your left heel. Trying to keep your hips nice and even so your left hip doesn't come a lot higher than the right hip. As you exhale then, relaxing your hips. Taking 1 more breath from wherever you have come to. And then drawing your left heel back in. Bring the mat with you. It may well bunch up. Bringing it in so that your foot is flat on the ground. Walking your hands back. And then press into your left foot to lift yourself back up, bringing your left knee back. And with that, let's just stand up and just take a little circle, a little hip circle, just to release out the hips after taking Hanumanasana and taking crescent moon, giving yourself a rotate in the other direction as well. Then bringing that to a halt and coming to sitting cross-legged for a twist. Do consider finding a block or a cushion to sit on if that would allow you to sit cross-legged more comfortably. Bringing a hand onto each knee and with a good firm grip on each knee, draw your hands towards you so your knees come in and lift your chest. If it's uncomfortable to have your legs crossed, then you can take your legs straight. The main thing is you'll still have a knee that you can use to help you to turn into your twist. So straightening up, chest lifting, then taking your right hand behind you, pressing your fingertips into the ground. Keep your body forward as you then take your left hand onto your right knee. Still lifting your chest, straightening up, and when you next exhale, start taking your chest around to the right. When you've gone as far as it will easily go, then you can see if your right shoulder can move a little bit further round, bringing your chest with it, taking your gaze over your right shoulder with your chin level. So Angelique, you look as if you're looking down a little. You could maybe just lift your chin a little. Perfect. Using your next 2 or 3 breaths, inhale, straighten up, pressing into your back hand, exhale, ease yourself round a millimetre more. When you next exhale, relax your upper body, bringing yourself back around to the front. Taking your hands on each knee, draw your chest forward, lifting it as you do so. So you're pulling gently on your knees. Then take your left hand behind you. Take your left hand onto your right knee. Keep your torso forward for a moment. And then as you next exhale, start turning your chest to the left. Taking your left shoulder back a little further, and then taking your gaze over your left shoulder if that's comfortable for your neck. Using your next 2 or 3 breaths, inhale, straighten, and exhale, ease yourself a little bit further round. When you next exhale, relax the body and bring it back to the front. Uncross your legs, straighten them out, give them a shake, and then we'll come up for a balance. We'll take a balance and then we will finish. So for our balance, we're going to take Natarajasana, the dancer's pose, which gives us a great opportunity to get a quad stretch on the way. So standing with your feet hip distance apart and your hands relaxing by your side, I'll come sideways on. So bend your left knee and catch a hold of your left ankle. And it's fine, I can see a mat being discarded, fine to come off your mat, particularly if you've got mat then carpet, making balancing not any easier. Making sure you're maybe gazing at a spot just a little bit in front of you on the ground, bringing your knees towards each other, and then the quad stretch. To get the quad stretch, start to tilt your tailbone up towards, your tailbone down so that your hips tilt up, and press your left knee down a little and take it back a little. So that those two moves lengthen the quad muscles that come down the front of the legs. Maybe letting your left shoulder come back a little. So knees easing down and back, your tailbones tilting down. Just feeling the way that lengthens and stretches the quad muscle. And then let's take it into Natarajasana, dancer's pose. Take your hand forward in front of you. And when you're ready, just start to slowly press your hand forward so you hinge forward from your hips, letting your knee come up behind you as you do that. So slowly, slowly, slowly. When you've hinged as far as you can and brought your knee as far as you can, if you want to take it further, you could start to press your ankle into your hands and lift that foot up towards the ceiling. That may then let you hinge forward a little more, keeping a lift in your chest, keeping your right foot firmly planted down with your breath steady and smooth. Then to come out, when you next inhale, lift your arm and torso, lowering your knee. And as you exhale, release your arm, let your leg come down. Wonderful. Taking a shake of your legs. So knowing as always that to improve the balance, we have to test the balance. And that every time you find yourself touching down and coming out of balance, that's a learning opportunity so that your body learns how to balance. So it's picking up your right foot, taking a hold of your right ankle. Bringing your knees towards each other. And then tilting your tailbone down so that your hip lifts up at the front. And pressing your knee down a little and taking it slightly back. Pressing your hips forward. And that should give you a stretch down the front of your quads. So hips forward, knee down and back, tailbone pressing down. One more breath there. And then lift your left arm. Just bring it to horizontal and start pressing your hand forward, allowing yourself to tilt at your hips, bringing your knee up behind you. So your knee almost stays in line with your torso. When you've gone as far as you can there, you can hold here, keeping your gaze on something solid on the ground just in front of you. You might find you could start to press your ankle into your hand, lifting your leg, reaching your hand forward a little more so you hinge a little more, but keeping a lift in your chest. Noticing you're getting a great stretch in your shoulder and arm, allowing your shoulder to open. Keeping your breath steady, keeping it smooth, left foot pressing firmly down. And as you next inhale, lifting your arm, lifting your torso, lowering your knee. Exhale, lowering leg, lowering arm. Taking a shake of your legs. And then we will finish with a forward fold, a relaxing forward fold. So hands on hips. A lift of your chest. Lead forward with your chest as you hinge forward. But as soon as you get to about your maximum point, let your knees bend. Let your upper body relax down. Release your hands from your hips. Take a hold of the opposite elbow with the opposite hand. And allow 3 breaths to relax your upper body completely. So once again, you're feeling gravity draw your head, your shoulders, your neck down towards the mat, without you having to do anything at all, just exhaling. Then release your hands towards the ground, bend your knees more deeply, tuck your tailbone under and slowly start to lift back up, restacking your spine one vertebra on the other. Your neck stacks last as your head lifts, rolling your shoulders. And from there, coming ready for final relaxation, lying down on your mat, taking something for the back of your head, if that will allow you to rest more easily and more comfortably. Stretching your legs out towards the corners of the mat, hands away from your body, your palms turned up, shoulders relaxing, maybe lengthening the back of your neck by lifting your head, tucking your chin down to your chest and letting your head rest back against the ground. Coming back to where we started the class with the attention drawn inwards. Being aware of the back of the body, feeling where it has the most contact with the ground. With that awareness, making any small adjustments so that the back of your body is as comfortable as it can be against the ground. Then taking your attention to your next 3 breaths. Allowing each exhale to relax the muscles and bring the body in closer contact with the ground. So it's as if each exhale is bringing you that bit closer, allowing your body to be that more comfortable. Then knowing there's nothing you need to do for the next couple of minutes except rest and relax. With your body still gently become aware of your surroundings, feeling the temperature of the air on your skin. Then wriggle your fingers and wriggle your toes, bringing your legs together, taking your arms up and overhead, stretching your hands away, stretching your toes in the other direction. Stretching gently out and releasing, bending your knees, bringing one knee then the other onto your chest, and your arms can come around to hug the back of your legs or the front of your knees, taking a rock side to side. Bringing the rocking to a halt in the centre and landing your feet down. From there, maybe coming via the right hand side for a breath or two, slowly bringing yourself back to sitting. Wonderful to see you. Thank you for joining me, whether live or by video. Namaste. Thank you.